here's the coat. Check it out. Look, it's a coat. Fun. All right, so with the coat, what we are going to do first is we are going to quick select the jean jacket. And to quick select it, we have to go back to where we had the magic wand, go to that family, and choose quick selection tool. And if you want, you can make your brush bigger by using little brackets on your keyboard. I wouldn't make it too much bigger because the bigger you make it, the more area it touches and it starts to select things you don't want it to. But this is actually a pretty decent thing to use for this image. Problem is the contrast isn't so great in that little spot there, so you get a little extra there. We can fix that later. Same thing with this little sleeve here. So I'm just going to come back and fix that. Select all this garbage. And once you do that, you can go back in with like a polygonal lasso tool, and you can go Shift and kind of estimate where it is. If you can actually see it, more power to you. But I'm personally not gonna be able to figure that out with that contrast, that lack of contrast, I should say. And I'm doing Alt there to subtract, Alt here to subtract, and by all means, don't feel like this has to be perfect. Honestly, I'm just going to look to see that you guys actually attempted. I'm not going to look to see whether you got it perfect, because this is not a project. Now, when it gets to projects, it's got to be perfect. You guys are all getting worried and stuff. All right, so now that we have that selected, which some of you guys may still be working on, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Adjustments panel. The Adjustments panel is over here. If you don't see it up here, what you have to do is go to Window, Adjustments. All right, so there's Image Adjustments, and then there's the Adjustments panel. There is a big difference. The difference is that Image Adjustments is a destructive edit, meaning it permanently changes the pixels forever. They'll never be the same, and whatever. This actually allows you to make it so you can edit it. You can go back and say, oh, I really want to do green instead of blue, and you can actually edit it using the same effect. So what we're going to do is choose Hue and Saturation, which is this thing. If you look at where I'm pointing on the Adjustments panel, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a fader thing at the bottom, like a fade from black to white, and then a bunch of other stuff above it. I don't know. It's to the left of the scale. When you hover over it, says Hue Saturation. Create a new Hue Saturation adjustment layer. So when you click on that, watch what happens. Down here in your background layers area, you got background, and then you have Hue Saturation as a separate layer, and it has a thumbnail on it that shows a white silhouette of the thing that you selected. Here's what you need to know about masks. Masks do what you would think they would do. They hide something, and they reveal other things. Most of the time, masks just hide things. You can hide behind a mask. In this case, what the mask is doing is basically creating a stencil where we will only be working with the area that's white. So when things are white, you can see them. When they're dark, they're in the dark, you can't see them. You can actually, in masks, work with grayscale, so you can have different shades of gray in there. And what the shades of gray do is they allow you to do transparency. So you can make an effect transparent. In certain parts, you can adjust how transparent and how untransparent it is. It doesn't really make any difference for what we're doing here on this thing because the background's not really colorful anyways. But if we were doing this with something else, then you'd be able to see it. So now that you have that Hue Saturation mask, if you go to this little slider here, you can adjust the hue and saturation and change its color. You can adjust the saturation and really super saturate it. And if you go down to lightness, you can brighten or darken it. So you could do you can make yourself like a little Gator jean jacket, since you guys are all Gator fans, right? And once you get it how you like it, if you click that double arrow, it collapses to it. But honestly, you know, maybe I don't like that. I can go back in, click it again from the little adjustment layer thing that popped up, this thing, properties. If I want to go back in, I can, oh wow, it looks like the Incredible Hulk. I think I'll go with that. And you can make it even desaturate where it doesn't have any color. I wouldn't do that if I were messing with this image because I want people to look at it. So otherwise it's going to blend in with the background, which is pretty boring as well. But anyways, if you go this little double arrow thing here, you can collapse that back. And yeah, I'll go with that. And I think that's it with this. Yeah, so now we're going to save this as my jean jacket. Save as, or my coat, I guess is what it was called, right? My coat. My coat. And then once you save it, if you save it as a Photoshop file, you will always have that adjustment layer there. If you don't have that saved as a Photoshop file, that will do what's called it'll merge your layers. It'll flatten everything into one layer, and it'll get rid of that ability to edit. So it's kind of a cool little thing to be able to use. This is another cool thing. If you click on your thumbnail here and choose something like black, and then use a paintbrush over it, check out what happens. You can actually erase the effect on that one part of the jacket. It doesn't erase the jacket, it erases the effect from the jacket. Because what you're doing is painting black on the mask, and you can see my mask down here has, my thumbnail for my mask has a little bit of black now, where I just drew on that. So it's kind of a nice thing to be able to do if you're like trying to do some cool effects with photos and things like that. When it gets closer to Halloween, we're going to have some fun with this. I don't know if you guys, well, some of you guys might have actually, no, I guess no one really saw it back then. We had this one thing that we did last year. Some of you guys, well, you guys, if you went to homecoming, you saw it, where my students took like different teachers' heads and put them into, like, superimposed them on the movie posters. So we might be doing something like that. Maybe not with teachers' heads. We might take teachers' heads and put them on animal bodies or something. I don't know. Do something goofy with it. I'm going to see if I can get some victims lined up. So yeah, go ahead and file save. And once you've done that,